Mike Perlack here to talk to you. And boy, have I got some stuff to talk about. I was going to wait actually to do a video till tomorrow, but I learned some stuff tonight. And earlier this week, I couldn't sleep, so I decided to watch The Passion of the Christ, Mel Gibson. And I recollected an SNL parody called, at the time that movie came out, called The Passion of the Dumpty, as in Humpty Dumpty. had to have been ridiculing Christianity. Anyways, I don't remember if they were mocking Mel himself or Christianity as a whole, but it had to be Christianity with a title like that, The Passion of the Dumpty. Apparently, the film is supposed to be more or less biblically on the money, but except for one scene where the Mother Mary runs to Jesus when he falls while carrying the cross, and at the same time she's recollecting him falling, and her running to him as a child, and the dialogue is Jesus telling her, "See, Mother, I make all things new." Apparently, that was all Mel Gibson or his congregation of self-proclaimed deities. I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine. But I know in Catholic theology, a bit more power and influence is given to the Virgin Mary, or I've seen it said as Lady of Assumption. Comment below if you think my understanding is off, or maybe you know something I don't on it. But personally, I don't subscribe to Catholic theology. I think recent historical events showcase such horrific things within the Catholic Church. That was involved in either directly or indirectly. I find it interesting that it took all that to expose, at least seemingly to me, to expose the failings of the Catholic leadership. It took all that for the Catholic leadership to go, okay, we need to stop telling our congregation that the Catholic Church is the church. We need to switch to telling them it's a church. And this was going back a while, but at this point I already was attending a Presbyterian church for a few years and learning much I did not know, as a self-proclaimed atheist growing up, that I would turn my nose up at anybody, any churchgoers. I believed in the human spirit, is what I called it. That's the whatever I believed in, that's what I called it at the time. Till I saw the errors of my way, putting faith in humanity without something more. But I did personally have the opportunity to inquire about this with a Catholic priest, a church that my father attended. And I think the gentleman was honest with me. He even volunteered information. I asked him straight out, does the Catholic Church consider itself a church or the church? And he says a church. And he even volunteered information. He says there was a time where the Catholic Church considered itself the church. My viewpoint, because my dad's side of the family was definitely Roman Catholic, but from my point of view, it's like the people said, well, we better identify as Catholic because to do so makes us superior to other denominations. Now, I'm not suggesting that this is a human sin exclusive to Catholic people. I'm just expressing my personal outlook based on my own childhood. The correct biblical interpretation, as I understand it anyways, is we all fall short of God's intended use for us, and we are all in need of salvation that is beyond anything humankind can do for itself. So as I was working it out in my mind how I wanted to present this on a YouTube video, I started recalling more about that SNL The Passion of the Dumpty bit. They did use real interviews of Mel Gibson talking about it, specifically the part where he says he believes in the Holy Spirit and believes that the Holy Spirit is looking favorably on his film. To me, that's just being human. I think we all hope that the work we do with the resources we have, that our efforts on this plane of existence would find favor with an all-knowing, all-powerful, preferably benevolent being. SNL must have been mocking Christianity with that, which is interesting because I recall other skits where they actually are neutral or even in favor of Christianity. One with Will Ferrell playing Jesus, and I think Anna guest star was playing Felissa Flockhart, and she says, "Jesus, you and I should do something together. I'll have my people call your people." And Will Ferrell, as Jesus, says, "You better get started. I have billions of people." Not because favoritism with the Almighty is going to grant you any kind of reward like going to heaven. Only wholehearted repentance for sin through Jesus can do that. But merely because it's just merely another human act of hope for betterment. Boy, if that is the whole point for some people being Catholic, I think I just debunked the whole thing. All right, so moving on to the other thing that prompted me to want to do a video tonight and not wait. I've been reading. I found at the Goodwill these American Heritage. It's a 16-volume set. American Heritage, New Illustration History of the United States of America, and I was reading Volume 5, Young America. And it's pretty cool. Copyright 1963. There's a foreword from JFK. Pretty cool. And anyways, I learned some stuff about Eli Whitney I never knew. First of all, I thought he was black. I thought it was a black guy who worked in the plantation and who invented the cotton gin. I don't know why I always thought that. Perhaps I have more faith in black people than other people. I don't know, but that's what I always thought. But no, he is a white guy. He invented the cotton gin. And the invention of the cotton gin, for some reason, gave southern plantation owners the go-ahead, for lack of a better term, to turn the system of slavery into a damn religion. Jesus, no wonder it took a war to end the BS. The original ideas expressed by the Founding Fathers in the Great Compromise, ideas that promoted the end of slavery in time, were at this time seen as old-fashioned. Because of these plantation owners. Jeez. Eli Whitney made nothing from his cotton gin. I think later on, North or South Carolina or one of them had to pay him $50,000, but by then the point was moot. He would go on to create superior weaponry for the North that would help win the Civil War. How's that for historical irony? But all this was unknown to him, of course. He was gone before all that came to fruition. So, southern plantation owners pretty much turned the system of slavery into a religion for their own benefit, to justify their own being, I guess. Much the way today's political elites are turning BLM and climate change BS into a religion for the sake of their power's sake. You knew I wasn't going to make a video without talking about what's going on in the world right now. And if DC elites have their way, the CCP will have power and influence over the health and well-being of U.S. citizens. Never a dull moment, as my grandfather used to say. And that guy who tried to kill Brett Kavanaugh, no doubt he did what he did to impress a hardcore female feminist because he thought he would get with her if he did. Human beings are so sad. Something's got to give. When Trump comes back in 2024, far as I'm concerned, because of all that's happened now, inflation, all this BS, He can do no wrong. First thing he needs to do is fire all opposing politicians. Should have done that the first time around, but he was wet behind the ears. Remember, he was a businessman. He's not a career politician, unlike Joey. Joey's a career politician. If this video stopped abruptly, it's because the SD card on here is almost full. I found a place to order my SD cards from, so I didn't have to resort to going to Walmart. Well, actually, I've been going to Spectrum, but apparently I can't even get them from there anymore. But this Sweetwater place, pretty good. They sell musical instruments and audio equipment. Anyways, so... And they also send you candy when you place an order. Alright, that's all I got for now. Mike Paralak, thank you for your time.